All right, in today's episode, Eric and I sit down with Chris Erdal. We're going to talk about sensory deprivation float tanks for treating PTSD. Kind of cool stuff. Eric and I went to Release Float Spa, which is over in Post Falls, and we did a float session over there, combined with some cold plunge and sauna. And we're going to talk about that experience in detail on this podcast. We also talk about a lot of other biohacking tips from Chris and our own lifestyles. And we drank a little bit of tequila because, you know, tequila's pretty healthy too. Hey, welcome to the North Idaho Experience Podcast for the people of North Idaho and those who are North Idaho curious. These are the stories of those who call North Idaho home. If you guys are thinking about making North Idaho your home, give our real estate team a call. That's what we do. Chris Erdal, welcome to the show. Today's show, we're going to talk about mental health. We talk about that a lot, but it's a big deal to us coming, Eric and I and the rest of our team have backgrounds as first responders and or veterans. So it's pretty important. It's near and dear to our hearts. As you know, there was a recent tragedy in Coeur d'Alene, and there's going to be a lot coming out of that regarding mental health, too, as far as guys needing help after that, guys and gals. So it's big on our minds. This podcast was precipitated?
There we go.
Yeah, that sounds
right.
good.
Yeah.
By Eric and I going to Release Float Spa yesterday and doing a sensory deprivation tank float, not in the same one together, though that was an option there. We did have
a
our own
couple
separate.
float, you guys.
Yes.
Picked the wrong rooms.
Yes. Or did we pick the right rooms? I'm not really sure how that works out. My wife immediately thought we did this. She's like, wait, so you and Seth were in the same pool?
Yeah, it's fine.
With
We
no
do it all the
clothes
time,
on
yeah.
together in the pitch black? I was like, yeah, I told you we're pretty
for the
tight.
podcast.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
keep your hands to
It's a
yourself. and
research,
it's fine.
babe.
Yeah. Here. Oh, thank you, Chris. Thanks for joining us. You're kind of checking the area out. I don't actually know anything about your background, dude. What do you do?
I'm a stay-at-home dad and
That's pretty cool.
homeschool teacher to my daughter Hadley. She's 6 and son Bergen 3.
How did you get into? Because you reached out to us. You're looking at business ideas up here, and you want to help out the first responder community. How did you get passionate about that?
Long story short, no, it's gonna be really long, but
Long story long.
Yes, exactly. I've been kind of part of the float world community the last 8 years, going to different conferences, meeting a bunch of people, meeting float tank center owners across the country, and then I kind of got into helping people out with their float centers. There's between 10 and 2 after the kids go to bed. That's kind of when my brain starts working. So that's when I go have fun in the hobby
dog.
in my garage, and found these float centers in New Delhi, India, and Australia that are open. Their open hours are between 10 and 2 in Minnesota. So I can talk to people during business hours. And I've always wanted to start a float center, kind of huge wellness center hub in Minnesota. And I've always been passionate about helping military veterans, first responders, active duty spouses. My grandpa on my mom's side was drafted in the NBA and then drafted straight to the Army. So went to the Army. My dad's dad was in the military. My dad's brother was in the military. Got some really good friends. They're in the military, and I guess I never really wanted to cut my hair, so I couldn't join the military.
Valid.
And went down to Miami like 2 months ago and hung out with a buddy who's got a float center in Florida, and he's just been doing all this stuff, and that really kind of fired me up to do some things. My wife 3 months ago was probably like, something's going on, like you gotta start showing up for yourself again. And that really pushed me. I had this hip thing going on for a while, and all the stuff kind of got a cortisone shot, so that got me moving a little bit, fired up, and then came out to Coeur d'Alene to look at doing some stuff. And we actually got here on the 29th, right on the mountain coming into town, and then looked at Google Maps. My wife was sending me all this stuff. Looked at Google Maps, and it says Coeur d'Alene shooter right here. And so I'm trying to figure out all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
What's going on? It's me and a 6-year-old, 3-year-old, and a 65-pound golden doodle in the RV. So we're trying to figure out everything as we go here, and stayed at a hip camp with people that run that was a horse farm. So they got 5 horses, a 3-legged goat, a 4-legged goat, and my daughter's all about horses and everything. So
You're talking about Orlando?
yep, Orlando
Yeah,
and his wife Emily.
So if you are a listener of this podcast, we just did a podcast with Orlando about equine therapy. So, and he at his place, he lets RVs come and stay there, and that's how you guys met.
Yes.
And then that's how we met.
Yeah.
Strange world.
Yeah.
Yep. So, okay. You've been floating for a long time. So you're all in on this.
Yep.
Okay.
There's a place in Minnesota that I have a membership to, but it doesn't get dark enough for me. It doesn't get quiet enough for me. I'd love to tell my friends like, hey, go float to this place, but
Yeah.
I got to find the right times. Like when the coffee shop's closed, when no one's floating next to me, then I'm good, I think, at doing my float the way I like to float.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just interested in like social and collaborative wellness modalities, and really promoting the float. And I guess, what did you guys think of the floating yesterday?
Yeah, well, I want to go back real quick because no. We're talking about like floats and float centers. I was yesterday years old when I even learned that this was a thing.
Eric had no idea what we were getting into yesterday.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, meet me over here for this thing
Dave,
today."
Dave was supposed to do it,
and then I'm naked.
And then
right?
Dave got really. And then Dave got too busy, and he's like, "Eric, tag in. You're doing it."
Yeah, like
And
I wasn't
what the fuck are we
wasn't
doing
too
today?
busy. Eric, you need to be over here and do this thing, right?
Yeah, that's
And
fine.
then literally,
Yeah, bring a bathing suit or don't.
Yeah, so if you could go back just for those folks that have never heard of that before, because I was one of them. I mean, honestly, I'm probably one of those. I don't go seek out many methods of, what's the word I'm looking for? Introspection or relaxation or any of therapy.
Not a natural state for you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'd never heard of equine therapy either. Anything involving horses, I usually turn into a dirty joke. But no, so I'd never had any part of that. So for those that are unfamiliar with like float centers or float therapy, can you kind of give them a rundown on what that is?
Yeah, you're in 10 inches of water with depending on the size of the tank, 1,000 to 1,400 pounds of Epsom salt. So you're super buoyant, floating. The water's the same temperature as your skin. The air, same temperature as your skin. And then I like to go completely dark, completely quiet. Everyone's kind of got their own way and reasons behind floating. And then your brain kind of has nothing to do when you're just laying there for 90 minutes, floating. It's not hearing anything. Your senses are completely deprived of everything. So you're not, I don't know, walking around. Your brain's keeping you upright. It has nothing to do. And then kind of takes over and figures out the important things, at least for me. Like I'll go in with a list of 10 different things on my mind and kind of come out and be like, all right, here are your top 3. 4 through 7 are nice to have, in the bottom, like delete those, get those out of your mind. It's a waste of time. And then I'm able to kind of have a clear vision on what I want to do with this project or something like that. And then wrote my vows in the float tank. Feels good when my back and neck are sore, and Dawn really likes looking at the medical side of stuff. She works at the hospital, so Dawn, who owns Release, I think she's done a really good job of talking to people about that and bringing people in for recovery on the medical side. And I'm looking from like more interested on the recovery side, like from the physical therapy, sports recovery, and then kind of the psychonaut or some of the crazy stuff you hear if you really go down the rabbit hole of sensory deprivation tanks. But then at the same time, trying to figure out how to make it more mainstream, and it's not just this people that helps. It's like, it could be everyone, I think. And it's not one of those things, or everything is something that necessarily can't help everyone, but if you try it, the more things you try, then you can find something. And then I really like what we did yesterday: cold plunge, sauna, red light therapy. Like I've never pre-gamed a float like that before.
Yeah.
And that was really interesting because for me, floating, I got so much stuff going on in my head. It takes me forever to get into like a meditative state in the float tank because I'm thinking about so much stuff going into it. But then when we cold plunge, sauna, and then cold plunge again, like my brain wasn't thinking about that stuff. I was thinking about you're freezing.
Yeah.
Like you're.
Yep.
So I went into the tank. I had probably the shortest float of my life yesterday, but I just got into it so fast. And there's so many different things you can play around with once you start doing it. And it's very interesting to me.
I've probably done it maybe 5 times total. And it takes me it's a weird situation. So I like it quiet and dark too, and you lose track of time, right? I don't know if I've been in there for 5 minutes or an hour, and but there's like a fidgety where 20 minutes. I don't know how long actually, but of where I'm like trying to get settled. I'm like, my neck hurts with that, and because it's a weird sensation. You're literally floating, and it's you don't have to try. The water density is so high because of the Epsom salt that you're just extremely buoyant. And then, after I calm my body down and I'm stopped twitching and moving and itching and doing all that shit, then I hit like a weird relaxed state. Not weird, but a relaxed state. And that's when I lose track of time. And I felt like I was spinning in the water, but I'm not, because I'm not even touching the walls, right? It's a very strange thing, but really cool because you're in your head, and there's no distractions, right? You're not gonna bring your phone in there. Dave might try, but we didn't. So I think it's pretty cool, but it's not something I don't have it in my daily routine. I don't know why. I don't know if it's an accessibility issue or what, but it's something I'd be into exploring more frequently.
Yeah, I think it's when you're talking about therapies, I always kind of go back to when I relate it to patrol, because a lot of our contacts with people were they had some sort of mental health disorder. A lot of people that were frequent flyers, the ones that were significant drug addicts or something like that, the ones that would have frequent episodes, and you just try to remind them, especially when they were younger, and you end up feeling terrible, it's especially schizophrenia, and you try to tell them, hey man, meds, when it comes to medications, it's an art, not a science. No person is the same. You can't just decide based on this weight and this metabolism that this substance is going to have this effect on your brain. Every person's different. I feel the same way about therapy, right? Where there's different kinds and different modalities all over the place, and see which one actually fits you. I was a little surprised yesterday because I can tell you that the thought of going into a dark room with nothing was not... I didn't like the sound of that at all. So thank you for
reminded you of being on a submarine, didn't it?
Yeah, thank you for I felt very vulnerable all of a sudden. But no, but that didn't sound very appealing. It is weird because I had the same thing where my neck was a little uncomfortable, and you go through this very fidgety phase, and then all of a sudden it's like, huh. And then you just kind of...
I'm good.
Just to paint the picture, you step into what looks like a freezer inside of like a restaurant. Okay, like you open this door, sorta, kinda, but it looks like a step-in freezer. Okay, and it's got like water that's about 12 inches deep, and you lay down in this thing, and you are completely buoyant. Your body kind of kicks up on the top, and it is the same temperature as your body. So what I found is I got to a point where I couldn't tell what was submerged and what wasn't, and it just feels like you're floating. And at first, it felt like you were kind of putting myself out in the ocean with completely dark and whatever. It felt that way, but. Yeah, it's a very interesting experience. And then
where did your head go during that?
Oh man, couple of different places, but it was like it stopped thinking about where I was positionally, if that makes some sense, or like all the outside stuff. And honestly, it got deep in my brain. I couldn't tell if I fell asleep or not. Like
I had that too, and I caught myself twitching like I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, that little, what do they call it? Hiptic or it's a jerk. It's like right before you fall.
Hiptic?
Yeah, something like that.
That sounds familiar.
We're so smart here at North Idaho Experience.
Jamie, pull that up.
Yes.
It's the only reason I did the podcast was just to say that. So.
Yes.
All right.
Got it.
Nice joining us.
Yep.
I've been wanting to say that.
No, but I had the same thing, and I honestly don't think I fell asleep. I just think it's, I don't know, my brain could tell the difference because it's probably similar to sleep where, your sensory, your senses are, diluted or they calm down or whatever. But that's what was weird. I have no idea how much time passed. None.
It was kind of a nice mental break for me because we are insanely busy throughout the day.
Right.
And we're unfortunately very tied to our phones. And I'm not bringing a phone in there. So I just shut it all off and took my watch off. And so there was no outside influence coming into my brain. And I didn't care because I knew it wasn't even an option. So it was like a really nice hour-long break for me in that regard.
Yeah, because they start with music. That's how Dawn did it. She started with that, or just noises. It was like sounded like some monk feng shui stuff, which is cool. It's chill. Put me right in the
You're getting it, bro.
Harnessed my
You're getting
chakra,
it.
bro. And Seth is slowly but surely trying to turn me
turning
into a
you into
hippie.
hippie, dude.
100%. If anybody remembers the podcast where he put that blue stuff on his teeth, it was epic, dude. Anyways,
Methylene blue?
on his hippie journey.
Dangerous.
But so he gets me going doing this stuff. But so we start with some sounds, and then there's light, and I shut that off surprisingly fast because I just wanted to see what that.
Yeah, I did too. I didn't like it.
And I know there's an option to like listen to a podcast. I didn't want any of that. And that part was kind of cool. How often in our modern world do you get to completely detach all of your sensory perception?
Never.
It was
much
cooler than I thought it would be.
That's good.
I dug it.
I should add, we are sipping on some fine tequila courtesy
Cheers
of
to that.
the boys over at Cape Horn Tequila. We did a podcast with them too. Some cool veterans doing great stuff. So thank you, boys.
Thank you.
Delightful.
Yeah, I got a buddy that has a float center in Florida, and he'll sleep in a tank.
Oh, is there a time limit? Oh, so like all night?
Yeah,
Is there any risk with that? Because I know your body's absorbing magnesium.
not much. I mean, it kind of depends on the pod or the float room, whether if it's going to stay warm enough with the air. Is it going to get stagnant air? Is it going to, how's that going to go? If you have the right float tank, things will be moving. Things will stay
That's wild,
nice.
dude. All night.
So I think, maybe like fall asleep at 11:30 or something and not set an alarm on Monday, Tuesday night, and then just get up. And he says he's 4x more productive the next couple days. And
Really?
That's
wild.
freaking wild. I know like people own these in their own homes. Like Joe, I mean, probably just rich people, but like Joe Rogan's got one.
He has a float tank?
Yeah.
I think he's got one. Yeah, he's either got one at his house or a studio. And then
Yeah.
I know like Tom Brady had
I think
his
there's one at the studio
at the
too.
house
Yeah.
when he was in New
Can
England.
can we put a request in for a float tank in our studio?
100%.
Yeah, they're
dude.
only like $20,000, I think.
No, I know a guy selling 4 of them that get
little
you under
cheaper?
20. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Well, that's what we need. We need a sauna, a float tank, and a cold plunge, dude. And I think I'd be good to go.
I would never.
By the way, I never knew I needed any of these things. Okay, so
I know.
thanks for that in
You're
your hippie conversion.
yeah, buddy.
See, I think the cool thing with this is, maybe you could think of the float tank as a hippie thing, but then you start bringing in cold plunge and sauna into it and giving people the opportunity to do all three.
Yeah.
And for people to learn about the float tank who might just want to come in for the cold plunge sauna, the fire ice contrast therapy, and then they're like, oh, what's this spaceship looking thing here?
Yeah.
Like climb
Could
inside.
get into that.
How did healthy things become associated with hippies? First of all,
You. That's how it
I'm the,
no,
I'm the
no.
gateway.
No,
I don't even have long hair.
No, I don't think it's that. I think there's always been a thing where it's like, or probably wrongfully, like organic. It just got associated with hippies at some point in time, which learning a little more, that's kind of foolish just because we put a lot of crap in our foods. And I do think there's something to, the entire health benefit. I do, I openly say that I got therapy in the last couple of years, and that was kind of a negative connotation in the first responder community for a long time. I'm really glad that stigma is gone. Mm-hmm. That opened my eyes to, I do think if we're going to go to the gym and we're going to train that way, I do think there should be some means of emotional health and mental health. Those two things go hand in hand with me, or in my mind. The ability to control the best way to tell whether or not I'm in a good space is how moody I am, right? And I think it's that way with anybody.
I never see you in a bad mood.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Your perspective is.
I accept all of your moods.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think
That's why we float in the same
I think
cup.
there's a new class of hippie that's come about, and it's people that are into being healthy mentally and physically, but also have the capacity for violence and like to shoot guns and do jujitsu and shit. Like,
Yeah, I think it's
that's
valid.
cool.
I think it's valid.
I think that's cool.
And every once in a while, it like bumps the path, right? Because there's so much information out there
Right.
that you can get listening to podcasts and listening to it. And you can kind of go down a line and there's like lanes. Every once in a while, you bump outside of it and you're like, all right, that's a little bit ridiculous. I'm not going to do that.
Oh,
right?
buddy, I have been down that
Like-
crystals and shit. Yeah,
Yes.
I've definitely.
And you still wear shoes.
I
So
do wear
that's-
shoes.
That's good.
90% of the day.
That's good. And you do shower daily.
I shower twice a day.
See,
usually, yeah.
then you're not a real.
Have you ever tried? You may have tried. Definitely has not tried this. You may have tried this. It's a crystal that you use instead of deodorant, and you get it like a little bit wet, and you rub it on your armpits. My brother gave me this shit for my birthday one time. I'm like, no way, dude, no. And then I tried it, and I was like,
You said no. All right, I'll
but
try
I mean,
it.
he went through the trouble of giving me this, so I'm gonna try it. It actually worked really good. until it didn't. Like if you broke the seal. So like for a normal day, I could rock this shit and you have zero smell.
Yeah.
And it just creates a crystal barrier. It's not real. I don't know what that. There's someone out there's going to call me out on the science of this, but it is a real thing. You can buy it on Amazon, and you get it a little bit wet. You rub it in your armpits. It creates a barrier, and you don't smell at all. Now, if you go and do a hard workout like jiu-jitsu or something, and that will break the seal, you're fucked.
And then it's on.
You smell like a homeless person. So, but it's cool for daily stuff. It's cool. Because that's been a big struggle of mine is finding a deodorant that's not full of crap.
There it is, Crystal Chakra deodorant.
Yeah. Give it a try. Tell me what you think.
What's the armpit chakra that we need to
The armpit chakra. There we go. You never know what route we're going to go on here.
No, you don't.
Armpit chakra.
But yeah, like in general, I'm all in on the healthy stuff. For sure with eating, I try to eat like predominantly non-processed foods, and that shit makes a big difference. I can tell as I drink tequila. Well, it's after 12. We're good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Never mind.
It's 12:05. It's fine.
So you guys have kids. When you're talking about healthy eating, how does that work? Like with your families and the time and
it's been a challenge. Like but my kids, pretty much their whole lives have been on this route, which was really hard when they're younger, and they'd be like, "How come little Sally can have whatever and I can't?" And well, because little Sally's parents don't care about her, obviously. So that's kind of the route we went. And then, but as they've gotten older and teenagers, man, they're trading snacks at school. Like it's game over. So we've established, I think, a good baseline for them, and they know in the back of their minds that they're not eating good food. But at this point, I've kind of just let them go ahead. I was like, my son, he'll be every day. He's like, "Oh, I'm fine. My body can handle it." I'm like, "It absolutely can until it can't." And then you're going to be my age and you're going to be dealing with, some kind of autoimmune disease, and like, enjoy it, buddy. I've done my work here. He's 17. I'm like, you're almost an adult. Like you can make your own choice now.
Yeah. I had this idea of, the nutrition labels.
Yeah.
And how they're all based off the average 2,000 calorie per day diet. Mm-hmm. So it'd be cool to have an app where you have all 4 of your people in your family. So me, my wife, Hadley, Bergen, and then you'd scan the app and it'd create like a custom thing for their age and weight. So it shows actually how much, if this is 26% sugar of a 2,000 of a normal American, how much sugar would that be for Bergen, who's 3 years old? And then that would be probably like 90% of his sugar. And like for parents to actually realize.
You know what? If you took a picture of it and put it into ChatGPT, I bet you could do it immediately. I have learned very recently, ChatGPT, you're thinking about food and kids, I can tell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, my daughters.
That's so bad.
I know. I'm there too. So very recently I was like, I was thinking about, I feel like I'm getting a little chubby. So I was thinking about going back to counting my macros. If you don't know what that is, that's like your macronutrients, so your protein, your fat, and your carbs. And there was a time in my life when Kristen and I both, we would, calculate our macros for the day, protein, fat, and carbs, and then develop a meal plan for that. And you're eating like exactly what your body needs. Also the leanest I've ever been in my life. It's a little pain in the ass to figure it out. So I was like, ChatGPT, I'm 45 years old, 215 pounds, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I want to create what are my macros? And it busts out exactly what it should. And then I was like, I wonder if it could make me a meal plan. Sure as shit. It make me a weekly meal plan. And it like, so the annoying part of macros is that you'd have to plug in all the food that you eat into an app and then calculate it. But ChatGPT just made me a weekly meal plan that fit my macros perfectly. So all I would have to do is eat exactly what it told me to do. And then I'm like completely dialed. And I was like, holy shit. Yeah. Okay. So people that are.
God, that has to piss some people off in a certain industry out
right,
there.
because they're going to, in theory, their jobs are going to be, people that are doing that for a business
Right.
or creating workout plans. That's another thing you can have ChatGPT do for you. Like I have this machine, these dumbbells, whatever, create me a workout plan. I can do it at home. Fucking done.
Crazy.
It's insane. So, I don't even remember where I was going with that, but it was pretty cool. And, I realized that that's going to be a game changer for a lot of things, being able to plug that right in.
So you said pain in the ass, but the leanest you've ever been. How did you feel like?
Oh,
mentally?
I felt really good. Jocko says that discipline equals freedom, right? And there is some truth to that, because when you know this is what I have to eat today, and you're not like hungry, right? I'm not saying starve yourself. Like you're very full if you're eating correctly. And I'm not saying it's a perfect way to eat for everybody at all. Like I've done it for a short period of time. I do not do that all the time. But I would say the freedom of knowing like, oh, I have this much to eat. I don't even have to worry about it. Like I'm not feeling guilty about eating whatever. Because so I think there's a lot of truth in that. Discipline equals freedom. Like it sounds the opposite, but once you know exactly what you can eat, you're like, oh, it kind of like frees up my mind in a way. I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Have you guys done any multiple day fasts?
Yes. Are you on one right now?
No, I got killed last night. Okay. I didn't realize we'd already had plans because they were doing a first responder benefit last night where all the proceeds went to local. Yeah. So I was out.
We have the longest I did was 72.
Okay.
And I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it. I hated it because I realized how much time I spent eating, and I'm like, well, what the fuck am I doing with all this free time now? It was weird. And I also do most of the cooking in the house, so I was still preparing food for the rest of the family. I'm like, yeah, okay.
I had to come home at dinner, and I worked out. I worked out while they were eating. I was like, I'm not even going upstairs. I'm just going to hate myself more downstairs. Like, that's all I could do. That's what I had to do. I did 84 hours. Do you do it often?
I actually haven't. We were in Bozeman a week and a half or so ago. Brought the RV down, picked up my wife in Bozeman because we were planning on going home 2.5 weeks ago, and so we were just going to pick her up in Bozeman, continue the trip home, and then she could hang out with us because she was in DC for work and stuff. So we kind of like to take the RV out with my parents and do some stuff with them while my wife's gone and still use that stuff. So we were planning on heading home, and then we stayed at the Bozeman Hot Springs. If you've never been there, go there. It's awesome. Ooh. My daughter Hadley was challenging some older boys in a cold plunge because they got like 11 different pools there. So inside, there's probably 8 different pools with different temperatures. Outside, they got a couple bean-shaped pools with a stage, live music Thursday, Sunday nights.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's amazing. And so Hadley was hopping back and forth into the cold pool, into the hot pool. And I started talking to this kid's dad. It was amazing how many 6-year-olds we've met on this trip. It's been wild with that. But so he lives in talked to the dad. He lives in Bozeman, and they were coming out to Coeur d'Alene because he does a 5-day fast with his buddy in Coeur d'Alene. So the two of them, they were at Silverwood the other day. We're going to try and hang out with them. But it's crazy how many like small weird connections we've made in the last 2 weeks.
Coeur d'Alene is like that, or North Idaho in general. Yeah. That's a really common occurrence when you're up here too.
And I swear I've only met like 2 people that have been born here.
That's also a common occurrence. Yeah.
That's why I call it. It's like the growing city with a small town mentality. Yeah. Like it's still very much, meeting people face to face, shaking hands, waving, saying hi, knowing who your neighbors are.
And it attracts people that share similar values and similar mindsets. So, when you say there's a lot of like-minded people here, like that's pretty damn accurate. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that makes it really easy to incorporate into a community for sure.
Yeah.
Which is good because it seems to be going down a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah.
Path.
A lot of hippie-ish shit.
Yeah, and a lot of hippie, positive hippie-ish shit.
Dangerous hippies.
Yes.
Like Viking hippies.
Warrior hippies.
That's
what you're going after.
It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Remember that?
That's pretty deep. Yeah. Is that a Seth original?
No, I didn't know. It's not a Seth
Came original. Up with that in the flow tank yesterday.
Yeah. Pretty good. Yeah. Back to food labels, though, because you're talking about that. So I have definitely been teaching my kids, me and my wife, how to read food labels forever. And I recently so my daughter really wanted to go to Trader Joe's here in town. When it first came in, my daughter's also named Hadley. So Hadley and I went to Trader Joe's, and I was like, okay, like I have my opinions about Trader Joe's. I'm pretty vocal about it. I spell it Traitor.
Oh, I see. Nice.
So I'm a Pilgrim's guy. Pilgrim's is a local grocery store here. They're phenomenal. So we go to Trader Joe's because she has to check that box in her head, and I'm like, all right, let's go look around. I'm like, I want you to read some food labels. And so every single box she picks up is like seed oils, what other crap? Just crap, things you cannot pronounce. Mm-hmm. It's all processed, right? And I don't like Trader Joe's because they run under the guise of being a health food store. Sure, they have some organic produce and whatever, that's fine. But the majority of the food there is like ultra processed crap. So
and more expensive than the actual.
It was very disappointing for her because we left with like nothing. Yep. And I was like, I mean, there you go. Like you can make your own choices on some level, but I want you to understand what you're getting and like look at it. It's not what they're marketing it to be. So
So
there you go.
if you count macros, does that mean you can't drink alcohol?
There are certain alcohols that are better than others, but like your goal should be 80-20. Like I'm going to be 80% good. 20% I'm going to be off a little bit because honestly,
Can you save that 20% up for like one night?
yeah, dude, have a big old night because you got to live too, right?
Can I extrapolate that out to days? So if I'm good for like 4 days, my 5th day can be
fuck it up, tear it up, dude. You got to live. You got to live a little bit, right? Because I think
valid.
if you try to be that strict all the time, I mean, if you're like going to be a bodybuilder or something, maybe that's worth it. But
Yeah.
for a normal human being, it's not. You don't need to be that strict all the time. You don't. It's not a reality to have freaking just completely shredded 6-pack abs and be like 4% body fat. That's not a way to live.
No,
I don't even know if that's healthy.
I don't think so. Dude.
I doubt it.
No.
But so you find a happy medium. I'm not saying I'm currently doing this. I'm just saying that's what you could do.
Good, because you came across a little judgmental.
I did.
do
You're
as
right,
I say,
you're
not
right,
as I
yeah,
do.
no, I'm definitely not being very good right now.
No, I know.
But I'm thinking about it.
I know.
I think that's the first step.
What I've noticed is it is the hardest when you get busy. Like when it just feels.
That's when it falls apart.
Man.
Yes.
And that's probably when you need it the most.
Right.
Right? When things start getting a little bit chaotic and hectic, that's probably when you need the most discipline and the most structure. And that tends to be the first thing that you remove from is your commitment to yourself.
Yep.
Right? Because you have so many other commitments elsewhere. But that's where it's like you start going down that hole and then you get up later or you don't prioritize exercise in the morning and then all of a sudden you don't feel the same way. You're not as productive, right? It's an interesting balance where sometimes you just need to reset to go back and say, okay, I got to go back to focusing on me and my health.
And you shouldn't feel guilty about it because if you're not healthy, then you're not productive at all.
No.
And everyone suffers down the line.
Yeah.
The eating thing. So the busier I get, because I do a lot of cooking, but sometimes I'm not getting home. You know our schedules. It's insane.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like, all right, we're going to get food out again. And it's this dangerous, slippery slope of
Right.
that goes first. I can
Yep.
sacrifice my food first because shit, I'm tired, I'm stressed out, everybody's hungry. Like we need to solve this problem.
But then
now.
you eat shit and you feel like shit.
Yes, exactly.
Shit in, shit out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. I don't know. Do you have a morning routine?
I have a lot of morning routines I want to do.
Yeah,
Kind of like I don't do any of these things. I know a bunch about them, but
I'm thinking about doing.
yeah,
them.
I don't.
Yeah.
Andrew Huberman,
Yeah.
familiar with him? So I like a lot of his stuff. Seeing daylight right in the morning.
Sunning your balls early in the morning.
Yep.
It's kind of hard to do in public, but
This is the way
why,
to find
what's that look on your face, Eric? You doubt my ball sunning?
Is that a real thing?
I think it
Yes, Andrew Huberman promotes it. Look
I
it up.
think it is, dude.
Listen, you can't tell me this because I bought into some of your crap, dude. My neighbors are going to be
Floating
upset. Be like,
yesterday,
hey,
did
you
this,
should-
did
I don't know
this.
if you know Seth Horsty told me this was okay.
And your butthole. So you
Yes.
need to
Yeah,
you need
okay.
to get out there
So
and,
just like-
and spread
yeah.
eagle it. Yeah.
Nice. Sorry to the neighbors.
I think
behind
Big
me.
John's into that. Ask him about it.
He 100% is probably into that. It's the same
John's
podcast.
on our team, yeah.
Yes, that tells him the Earth is flat, dude. Same one.
I have a red light bed, so I don't have to worry about being in public, and I can sun my balls.
You have a red light bed?
You haven't seen this yet. So we have we have a massage table that we put a PEMF mat on.
All right.
So electromagnetic frequency mat. So you can dial it in and change the magnetic frequency on it. And then it's also heated. And it's a grounding mat. So you're grounding with the earth.
I'm loving
I can
this
see
face
you
right
just
now.
watch his
Yep.
face. And then above that, I have this full length, like 6 foot long red light bed, which you used one yesterday, right?
Yep.
So I have that, but it's bigger, and it covers your whole body. And then so you lay on the grounding mat, and then turn the red light on, and that's how you get it done, dude. Do I honestly feel a huge difference doing all this? Not necessarily. So there you go.
But it's probably a percentage where it's like kind of
gotta
nice.
be. Yeah.
Could you incorporate that with a float all at the same time with a red light on top?
I bet you could put a red light bed in there, but you'd run the risk of electrocuting yourself, I guess. It's hard. It's hard to fit it all in, right?
name
You
of
have
health.
all these things you want to do, and it's like I don't have time to do that every day. I don't do that every day.
Yeah.
I want a sauna every day. I want a cold plunge every day. I don't have one at my house.
That's
yet.
that's the balance I was going back to, though. There's so much
How do
information.
you do it all?
Yeah.
It's too much.
And there's so much out there that says, hey, you need to buy this, you need to get this, you need to have a cold plunge, it needs to be all of these different things. And I'm sure at the end of the day, if you're prioritizing an hour of your day, 45 minutes to an hour of your day towards your own self-health, Some of it's probably psychosomatic, dude.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Or some sort of placebo effect.
Placebo effect, yeah. If that works for you too, that works.
If I were to pick like 3 things,
Yeah.
it would be sleep, move your body every day, and then, try to eat predominantly non-processed food. I think if you did those 3 things, it would solve most of your problems.
Be in pretty good
Do you need a red light and a grounding mat? No, probably not. That's extra credit.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff is like accessibility. So,
Right.
like around here, looking at the market, and even in Minnesota, it's like you got IV mineral therapy.
That's a whole nother one.
Like here,
IV therapy.
You got a cold plunge.
Oh, we haven't done that yet.
You got a sauna, and you got
coming.
cold plunge here. You got a red light therapy here. You need 6 different monthly memberships to do what you want. And you can't drive to everyone.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're just like, this is too much. I don't have time for this.
Right.
And so there's a hub-based social collaborative wellness center, I think, that could do awesome things, and people would.
Have you been to Heat Proxia yet?
I've not.
Okay.
You sent me that.
You need to go check them out.
Okay.
Just to experience it, they have they don't have all of that, right? They have cold plunge and sauna and red light, but they have a cool thing going on, and it's a cool location. You can look out. You can sit. They have a 30-person sauna, which is, beautifully built, and then it looks out over the lake right there by Sanders Beach and Tubbs Hill. It's freaking epic. That place is cool.
Yeah, I could see that being neat. You're talking about a hub, because I almost sometimes feel like it's a gym. If it's not all scripted and you're going and saying, okay, what am I going to work out today? If it was like a health thing, and there would be days where it'd be like, yeah, today's a good day for a float, I'm going to do that. Or if it's red light therapy,
you're paying one fee.
Yes.
To one thing to go do all of that and pick and choose. I think that's a good idea. Right. Because that's the challenge.
Yeah, or even like you talk, if it's not being scripted, like if you go into the gym, you have a workout plan, right? Mm-hmm. If you go to a wellness center, you have options, but I think if there's a script there saying, let's do this ritual, right? When I was in Iceland, they got the Blue Lagoon, which is the famous like touristy place, beautiful place. And then there's a place called Sky Lagoon. So it's all man-made, but it's a huge lagoon along the water. And then you walk in, you do a cold plunge, you go inside, do a sauna, which has the biggest window in the whole country, is this sauna overlooking the water. So you hanging out, social stuff, hop in the cold plunge, go to the sauna, walk through a cold mist, go to a body scrub, go in the steam room, cool off again, and then, I don't know, that kind of stuff, just like a ritual. And then that's kind of almost like a wellness plan, or like they're telling you what to do. Some people need to be told what to do. Yeah, I feel like otherwise, if you go to the gym and you don't have a workout plan, you're gonna
that's absolutely
pump
true.
a couple things and lean a couple bit, go get some water, and then just kind of.
You're never as good if you don't have a plan ever. That's a good idea. I like that. So we were talking about morning routines a minute ago. Yeah. That's a big one for me. Is I can own the morning. Everything else after that is a complete shit show in our lives, doing what we do. But nobody needs any real estate help at 6 a.m. Like nobody needs my time. So I can dedicate that time to myself, and that's like one of the number one things that has been really good for me over the past couple of years, and I've been very consistent with it. Is getting up at 4:30 or 4:45. Reading, journaling, trying not to look at social media because that will take you down a rabbit hole and ruin your day. Mm-hmm. And then go to the gym from like 6 to 7. And then after that, whatever, get ready and go to work. But doing that consistently has been like an absolute game changer for me.
How long have you been journaling for?
Most of my adult life.
Okay.
I like to write poetry, and I've been writing poetry since high school. So
like slam poetry or what?
No,
kind of haikus
says that. Yeah, haikus are cool. I generally just write that is a very good way. It's therapy for me, right? Gotcha. I take shitty situations and I'll put them on paper, and then they're out of my head. So when
Eminem diss tracks and 8 Mile stuff.
So like as a cop, like a bad crash or whatever, like a traumatic event, putting it onto paper and maybe nobody will ever read it. I don't care about that, but it gets it out of my head. Mm-hmm. And I'll take, I take things and I boil them down to the essence. That's poetry for me is like a boiled down essence of life. I don't need to rhyme. Everybody always thinks like poetry is gonna rhyme, whatever. No, none of my shit rhymes for the most part. But it's a boiled down essence of life. So if I read, like when I read a good poem, it should elicit an emotional response from me. And it can be very short, like even a haiku, right? I can read a haiku and it'll elicit a response in my mind or make me think about something or remind me of a smell or a sound or whatever. Not everybody's brain is built like that, by the way. I've learned recently because I will share, my wife's brain is built entirely different than mine. I will share something with her and she's like, yeah, I don't get it. I'm like, oh, really? Huh. Weird. Okay. Like I can read this thing that someone wrote and I'm like, fuck, like it'll trigger something in me, like just a little bit of a response and I'll get a feeling and it'll make me think about something else. And I'm like, that's cool. It's a very powerful tool. I
don't think that's irregular though, man. Like everybody's, and I'm not sure it's just a construct of the way your brain is wired as much as we are a product not only of our biological differences, but our experiences, our upbringing.
Yes.
That all tends to form the way our pathways, I think, go when we see or hear or smell certain things. There's definitely something to that where I can either watch something, listen to something, smell something, hear something that will kind of take me down a certain way. And obviously not everybody's going to have that regardless of the construction,
right?
You know, the path of their brain is just different for everybody. And that's where it comes back to, you know, first full circle health and mental health safe and, or these different therapies. It just doesn't work the same for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. You kind of got to find your thing.
Right.
Right.
And I think any one you have to go into with an open mind or with intention, just like working out, you have to go in with intention. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. You can't throw it. It just reminds me of sending people to drug and alcohol rehabilitation, but they have no desire to be there. If you don't go in there with the intention of trying to clear something up or clear your mind if you're floating or have problems set up, I don't know if it would be successful.
Yeah, I think setting and intentions are very important when we're trying different things and trying out to see if they work or not. And
so how do you get first responders and veterans are notoriously stubborn people. I think that makes them good at their jobs. How do you, like, it's hard that, and Eric mentioned earlier, but you know, the stigma around mental health is changing. It's gotten a lot better than since I became a cop in 2007. So it's grown tremendously since then, but it still has a long way to go. How do you get these guys and gals to come in and try something like floating? Because it's, you know, I just tricked him. He didn't know what he was doing, so that was easy. But
I didn't even know where I was going. It's like, oh, sweet, we're going to wellness bar. I'm
show
getting
up
an
here.
acai
Yeah,
bowl.
we
All right, cool.
We'll get you a little ice cream.
Nope.
Water. Negative.
Nope. Get your pants off.
I
Getting
think
this,
that'll be the big
salt pool. Yep.
That'll be the big challenge. We've had pretty good success getting guys to come cold plunge with us. In the wintertime, we all go to the lake, and we get a bunch of dudes from similar backgrounds. There's a camaraderie there. There's a tribal thing.
Shared misery.
Shared misery is a big one.
Yep.
So I think it requires some type of leadership or buy-in from a certain group that will bring other people in there, because that's a tough one.
Right.
Like you tell a guy, like, you're going to go in this fucking pod, and it's warm water, and you're going to float. I
think anonymity and cost initially, like, and again, having somebody that's done it that buys into it, I think is important. I know you mentioned Hepraxia. They'd worked it out to where guys could use some of their incurred benefits from the city and their jobs.
I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah.
What's that called?
VIBA.
VIBA.
Yeah, they could use VIBA to go seek that treatment, because a lot of them, I mean, cold plunging is supposed to have a lot of physical effects. Man, I loved the mental effects that I got from cold plunging.
Yeah.
You are wired after that, and
you're fucking wired. And you feel like I just did a hard thing. And if you do it early in the morning, you're like, fuck, the rest of the day is easy.
I did that for, how long did I do that one winter?
You did a lot of days.
76 days in a row. So I'd get up for day shift, and I'd get up at 4 and go roll into the lake. I had to chainsaw out my triangle and hauser to go jump in, and the rest of the day was downhill. Like, all right, yeah, I went and it's cold and dark and miserable. You know,
terrible.
And
it's all bad.
Yeah, but it was awesome. I mean, and then you're wired till 10 or 11. So I think getting buy-in from people that have already done it and saying, hey, man, it helped me out, but I think you have to go into it with an open mind and with good intentions. I think some of that stuff could be well received.
Yeah, I don't see 3 firefighters going in for a day at the spa kind of thing together.
Right. No.
So
you got to make it
building
suck a little bit.
Yeah. Kind of like looking at tools are available like we did yesterday. Like the 3 of us cold plunge together.
Yep.
and then you had time to listen to your music, whatever. We're just all cheering you on or laughing at you, or you go 5 minutes and then I go 5 minutes and 2 seconds just to beat you, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then kind of doing things that people are familiar with. They might not be familiar with the float tank, but having that available and then introducing that, I think. But a lot of people, I think, are familiar or have heard about it from Joe Rogan, Tim Ferriss, whoever, those thought minds that have been talking about it and they use it. So they kind of know about it, but they're just never said, hey, I'm going to go do that kind of thing. So making it accessible and just playing around with a lot of things that, there's a lot of people in the float world that are trying to do their own programs, like it sounds like Key Proxy is doing. A friend, Shawnee Powers, in Twin Falls, Idaho, she's got a beautiful center called Float Magic, and her license plate is actually Float Naked on a blue Bronco. So that's pretty cool. And she's started this e-well program with first responders in the area, and they've gotten in touch with United Way, I believe. I've been working on some stuff down there, and she's in Idaho, and Idaho is pretty cool. And so I think there's options there to look at doing some collaborative stuff within the float center. There's a float conference coming up in August in Seattle. I think some people are kind of all doing their own thing. So I think if we bring stuff together and figure out ways, or there's things people have already thought of. So this person here in Portland, Maine doesn't have to think about this. Like, let's just bring stuff together, do what's worked, do what's proven, and kind of have just a huge opportunity to expand outreach for first responders, military, veterans, and got this float buddy out in Hawaii. Scientists used to study floating on the brain at the Brain Institute in Tulsa, and he lives in Maui. So he's been working on with a float tank maker and a bunch of other people, putting 3 float tanks in a shipping container and being able to deploy them to natural disasters around the country.
Oh shit!
Like this, and so they're there. Boots on the ground, help that people out that way, because a lot of times I think natural disasters, like with the Maui's fires back then, LA fires, anything like that, with what happened here in Coeur d'Alene, like people need help, but they don't realize they need it right now.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard. So I've been through a pretty terrible natural disaster where our house burned down, our whole town burned down. It was a fucking bad deal. And if you had tried to get me to float at that time, it would have been hard to get me to do it. But if I had done it, it would have provided some mental clarity, right? I was living in, at least for the first couple of weeks, in such an acute level of stress that I have never experienced before. And we are used to acute levels of stress. It was, you're like so caught up in fight or flight that I don't know if I would have taken the time to do it. But damn, if you could have got me to and had an hour of just like shut my freaking brain off.
Yeah, because even in those instances, your sleep isn't sleep.
Dude.
You're waiting for your phone to go off. You're waiting to get woken up. You're waiting for the next disaster. You're waiting for the next trauma. And
the first night, so it was a campfire in 2018. The first night I got home, I had worked, I was doing evacuations. That's a whole nother story. But I get home, I tell my wife, hey, our house is gone. Like, I just saw it burn down. And then we're getting, all night on the radio or whatever, on social media, they're talking about the fire's going to come into Chico now and burn that town down. And she's like, do we need to evacuate? And I'm like, fuck, I'm exhausted. So I'm trying to make that decision of, do we have to evacuate from where we're at now again? Or do we stay? And I remember I laid down in bed and I was so fucking stressed out. I was like curled in a tight ball and I was just like it did not relax. And then I had to get up at 6 a.m. and go back to work. And it was like, that was a fucking weird deal.
Yeah.
Weird deal.
That's interesting. Talking about deployment. I don't know. I'm in the same boat, dude. I don't think I'd want it then. I'd want it after.
Like,
you know what I mean? Like
after.
Yeah. Like for right now, I gotta be switched.
I gotta be switched on. Like, I'll sacrifice my health right now because I need to be in this moment. And I don't know if that's true or not, but that's how it feels at the time. And it'd be hard to get a guy out of that.
But I think that's healthy, man. Like, historically, going through those periods of time like that is all right. It's just what you do when you get back, or when there is no longer that stressor. Are you creating those stressors for yourself day to day?
I had a good analogy, and this is very poetic, but you think about the rings on a tree, and you can see when that tree went through some serious trauma, like a drought or a fire. And I was like, if you could cut me in half,
Oh yeah.
there'd be a fucking gnarly ring around 2018.
Yeah.
I know human bodies don't work like that, but you get the analogy. And I was like, yeah. And I know a lot of people have that, right? That's mental health. Like,
right.
We just had an incident here in Coeur d'Alene, and there's going to be a lot of men and women with a gnarly ring in their tree.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it just manifests itself with either autoimmune disorders or, poor bodily functions in other ways. Those are the rings of our tree. But is there some good science-backed stuff out there in regards to floating with like PTSD recovery and stuff like that?
There is, and I'm not the expert on that.
Yeah.
So I guess like this guy was talking about, Justin Feinstein's doctor. His project is called Maui Calm with the deploying float tank. He's got a lot of literature. So Justin Feinstein, I'd say, look him up.
Yeah.
I can't be the one. I know a lot about things, but not a whole bunch about certain things, I guess.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to put the wrong stuff out there.
It'd be cool.
Yeah.
And and I like it works for some people, or at least what he's showing works for a lot of people. And just with anxiety, better sleep, magnesium coming in your skin, that helps. There's all different aspects of it that can help. So not a bunch of research on it right now. I don't think there's much research about doing something before, like cold plunging before, or sauna, or doing like stacking modalities. So that's something I think in the future that can be explored, but it's also, I don't know, like an industry that who's really going to fund those types of research projects.
Right.
Except,
I don't know. There's a lot
VA
out there
maybe?
but I think about that, getting somebody to go, if there's some research backed principles in science behind this, either quieting noises while you sleep, helping you with longer sleep, or, long-term PTSD, I don't know, diminishment, if that's a word, but, something that would be like therapy, getting somebody to go do something like this as opposed to sitting in front of somebody they don't know and talking about their feelings. I feel like some folks in this community would probably be more in line with that in a dark room by themselves, trying to handle some of those things.
Yeah, last Friday we had a release. Long story short on this, so we were planning to go home a week and a half ago, so then we decided to come back here, and looking for a place to stay in the RV on July 4th wasn't possible. So we ended up staying out in Airway Heights, Washington, and we got an Airbnb. Just my wife flew out, and my wife's amazing at setting me and the kids up for success, and then doing her thing and kind of letting me take over from there. So we've done a couple trips, just the kids and I, skiing in Colorado and stuff like that, where there's no way I could get all this pre-stuff ready, but when I'm ready to go, we're going to have a great time. We're going to do crazy things, and we're going to learn from it, and it's going to be awesome. So she came out, and we got this Airbnb, so she was hanging with the kids as much as she could, doing all the laundry, everything, like, to help set us back up for success. And met this guy, Vu, so we stayed there 3 nights just because after the 4th, stuff opened up and got a lot cheaper. So we're like, we got to get out of here and get back closer to Post Falls. And so Vu had this property. People were coming, working on it and stuff, and then talked to him the first morning, and he's like, hey, what are you doing here? Told him about floating and stuff like that. He's like, well, send me some information on that. And so I sent him, and there's actually a link with PTSD and veterans because the house is very decorated and veteran stuff on the wall, everything like that.
Yeah.
And so he called me back, and he's like, hey, I have 2 buddies with PTSD. No, I think he texted me, but I have 2 buddies with PTSD. I think this might benefit them. If you allow us to come in to release, I will let you stay at the Airbnb for 2 more nights.
Oh, cool.
For free. And I was like, absolutely. He's like, well, I really have 4 buddies. And so I was like, okay, let's bring them in 2 at a time. And so they came in last Friday, and Vu was kind of like, I'm just doing this for my buddies and not really into it. It seemed to me at the time. And his 2 buddies, all 3 vets, came out, and they were like, okay. This is not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
One guy, we had to knock on the door. He's so into the float, we had to knock on the door and get him up. And so then Vu texted me the next day. He's like, thank you so much. They both said like they had 8 hours uninterrupted sleep. Like that never happens for them. Like same thing with me. I'm usually 4 to 5 hours, and then I'm up a little bit, or whatever, and it was like 8 hours interrupted, and
That's a big deal.
yeah. So it's just, I think, doing stuff like that to get people in, and then give them a space to try it, and then figuring out, I guess, where we go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. I dig it, man. I think, getting people in the door is going to be but once you get more and more and more, and then word of mouth is going to be the biggest way to get people in there.
Especially in our community.
So I dig it. Hey, we got to wrap this up. Okay. I know Devin's got to get to a photo shoot.
Yeah.
He's thinking about it. That's our videographer. Chris, thank you, man. I would like to revisit this down the road as this thing progresses and see what's up, and however we can help promote. Mental health for first responders and vets is huge for us.
I would love that too. And to pull this full circle from your intro,
yep,
I'm sure most people will call you and say, "Hey, what's up with Idaho?"
Yeah.
So this is my due diligence, and just letting you know that the Erdal family is North Idaho curious.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
I love it, bro.
Nice.
Love it. Thank you, man. Good pleasure to meet you. And if you guys are in the North Idaho area, go check out Release Float Spa in Post Falls.
It's awesome.
It is an awesome spot.
It is cool.
Eric and I can attest to that.
Yep.
All right. Catch you next time.
Appreciate you guys.
Unexpected. Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.